Be careful. Tomorrow is the last day. Please don't go to this place at any cost. 3 women are. The room you're sitting in right now might feel safe, silent, and still, but there's something you don't know. Tomorrow has been marked. And the moment your foot steps near that place, something irreversible will begin, something you cannot undo. They've waited patiently, calculating your every move, setting traps in places that feel familiar. The danger doesn't wear black, it smiles, it invites, it feels like comfort. But behind that comfort, behind that welcome, are 3 shadows preparing for your arrival. They know the path you always take. They know you won't question it. That's why they chose tomorrow. That's why they chose that specific place, because they believe you won't resist. From the outside, it seems like nothing. A street corner, a hall, a casual meetup, maybe even a well-known cafe. But what's being staged there isn't ordinary. It's rehearsed. It's layered. And it's meant for you. You weren't supposed to know this. But the message slipped through. You opened this just in time. They didn't think you would. They were counting on your silence, your innocence, your habit of ignoring your intuition. But tonight, something deeper has stirred. A vibration in your chest. A flicker in your dream last night. The way time paused at 3:33 a.m. That wasn't coincidence. That was warning. 3 women. Not strangers. Not unknown. But familiar faces wearing unfamiliar intentions. Each of them holds a role. One will distract. One will deceive. And one will disappear after it's done. They've been watching you. Not for days. Not for weeks. But for months. Quietly. Every laugh, every share, every step. They know how to make you trust. They know exactly how to make you feel seen. You think it's just an invitation. You think it's just a friendly call. Come tomorrow, they said. Just a quick moment, they claimed. But that moment is not quick. It's precise. Engineered. Designed to shake your reality. Even the ones closest to you don't know the full truth. Because this isn't just about the place. It's about what's hidden there. A secret you're not meant to find. A confrontation they fear. A memory they tried to erase. If you go, you'll sense it. That tightness in your chest. The cold rush down your back. But by the time you feel it, you'll already be surrounded. It all started years ago. An event you don't remember. A favor you did unknowingly. A moment where your kindness set off a ripple. That ripple reached the wrong hands. And now, those hands want to silence the source. They told someone about you. They said you were too close. They said you remembered too much. That's when your name was whispered into a circle where no name should be. It wasn't random. You were chosen, for silence. But this message, this moment right now, it's your interruption to their plan. The first woman is the initiator. Her smile hides layers. She's the one who will lead you in. She'll mention a place, softly, like it's unimportant. She'll say, "Just meet me there real quick." Don't. The second woman is the mirror. She'll reflect your fears, your hopes, your questions. She's meant to distract you emotionally. If you let her talk long enough, you'll forget what time it is. The third one is the extractor. You won't even see her. But she'll be there. Watching. Waiting. She's the one who finishes the job. Together, they are one force, but tomorrow is their final rehearsal. Because you weren't supposed to see this message. And still, they are sure you will go. That's why this warning matters. It's not fear. It's clarity. You're not weak. You're not paranoid. You're finally awake. This isn't the first time they've tried. It's just the last time they'll get close. There's something valuable about you, information, intuition, or inheritance. And they want to extract it in a way you won't even realize. They may offer a seat. A sip of something. A memory. But what they really want is your silence. You're not crazy for feeling this shift. You're not overreacting for choosing caution. You're not losing anything by not showing up tomorrow. In fact, you might be saving everything. There's a reason this message reached you before midnight. There's a reason the chills just swept through your arms. You were chosen to intercept the plan. Not walk into it. One of them already hesitated. She asked, "What if they don't come?" The leader replied, "They will. They always trust too much. Not this time. They won't expect you to stay home. They won't expect you to shift plans. They won't expect you to notice the number 17 showing repeatedly today. Or the sudden scent of jasmine. Or that shadow in your dream that pointed east. These aren't signs. They're instructions. There's a journal somewhere in your house. You haven't opened it in months. But tomorrow morning, before doing anything else, open it. Write one line, "I was warned. I listened." That's the beginning of a new protection timeline. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to explain. Your absence will say everything. And the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Let them wonder. Let them question. Let them sit in silence when you don't show up. Because something greater is guiding you now. You are not alone. This message, this script, this moment, was divinely arranged. This is your escape disguised as a message. Don't go. Stay aware. And by morning, you'll feel that heaviness lift. You'll know you avoided something big, not by fighting it, but by finally listening. You'll wake up tomorrow and feel different. Not because something changed overnight, but because you made a choice to protect your own timeline. The danger wasn't just the 3 women. It was the script they wrote for your downfall. That script has now been shredded. The one who sits at the center of this circle, they've lost control of the outcome. They had everything scheduled, every word rehearsed, every signal prepped. But what they didn't plan for, was you finding out. Now, the shift has begun. A 4th woman is watching from the side. She's not part of their plan. In fact, she's been warning you in small ways for weeks. That delayed text. That sudden dream. That feeling in your gut when something didn't sit right. She isn't your enemy. She's your unspoken shield. She was once inside that circle too, but she escaped. And ever since, she's been leaving you small breadcrumbs of truth. Look back. Remember the time you were about to go somewhere but felt too tired? That wasn't coincidence. It was intervention. She saw your name on the list. She whispered, "Not them. They're not like the others." But her voice was drowned out. Still, she didn't stop trying. She made sure you stumbled across this message, tonight. She knows what tomorrow holds. She knows how far they'll go. But now, you know too. And knowledge is protection. You've been divinely delayed. That delay is not denial. It's defense. Because if you had walked in blindly tomorrow, you wouldn't recognize what was happening until it was far too late. They were planning to use your own memory against you. Words you once said. Favors you once gave. Kindnesses they never deserved. But now that you're out of the loop, their plan will start to unravel. They'll show up. They'll look around. They'll wonder, why didn't they come? They'll start pointing fingers at each other. And that's when everything falls apart for them. You've done your part. But there's one final instruction that must be followed tonight. Write a note. Just for you. Fold it. Keep it near your pillow. It should say, "I am fully protected. No harm can find me when I walk in truth." That's your closing ritual. That's the energy that will guard your space until the time is right. Because this wasn't just about danger. This was about you rising to a level of intuition that most ignore. You saw through it. You stepped back. And now the story will be rewritten. There's someone else who's been quietly tracking your journey. Not an enemy. Not a friend. But a powerful protector who's never shown their face, only their signs. This protector doesn't speak much. But tonight, they're whispering clearly. You broke the pattern. You escaped the trap. You will now receive what they tried to keep from you. What's coming next has nothing to do with revenge. It has everything to do with restoration. What they blocked is returning. This isn't about where you were not meant to go. It's about where you're meant to be sent next. You won't need to force it. The place, the moment, the opportunity, it will find you. Because by refusing the trap, you activated the true path. You've unknowingly unlocked a window that will only stay open for a short time. That window will reveal a conversation, a document, or a sudden meeting that shifts everything in your favor. Remember, it was never about the event. It was about who wanted control over your outcome. Now, they've lost it. And you've reclaimed it. They didn't just want to stop you from showing up. They wanted to delay your awakening. Because once you saw the pattern, once you recognized who was playing behind the curtains, you'd be able to access something they were hiding for years. And it's not a theory. It's real. A document. A name. A locked-away truth that connects directly to you. There's a reason you've always felt a strange pull when passing certain places. A chill, a pause, a sudden silence in the air. You thought it was just coincidence. But it wasn't. Your name is tied to something sacred. And those three women, yes, they were instructed to keep you away from it at all costs. Because if you even came close to discovering what's buried, the entire illusion would fall apart. They've survived this long by keeping you confused. They've used smiles, silence, and sweet lies to fog your vision. But not anymore. There's a building. It doesn't look like much on the outside, paint chipping, a locked gate, no windows open. But within it? A vault. A file. A signed confirmation. Something you were meant to receive years ago but was intercepted, hidden, buried under layers of manipulation. And now, it's starting to rise again. Not because they want it to, but because you've become too aligned to ignore it anymore. Someone once said your name in a room full of powerful people. It wasn't meant to be kind. But what they didn't realize, is that by speaking your name, they activated something divine. That moment triggered a spiritual tracking system. And that's why, today, you keep seeing repeating signs. Certain numbers. The same lyric. That dream. That pause in time. That's not your imagination. That's alignment. That's truth breaking through the cracks. They wanted you to be tired. Distracted. Doubtful. Running in emotional circles. Because if you slowed down even for a second, you would have seen it all. Now you've seen it. And they can't undo that. That's why everything has started to feel strangely heavy today, not to punish you, but because you're stepping into a power that demands presence. You're not overwhelmed. You're awakening. There's someone else involved in this. Not the three women. Not even the fourth one who tried to warn you. But someone older. A man. Gray hair. Thick signature. Wrinkled hands that once signed off on something with your name on it. He thought you'd never find out. He thought the paperwork was destroyed. But copies were made. And one of those copies is now moving. It's being reactivated. The reason? Your energy has shifted. Your timeline is now realigning. The more you trust your body signals, the more you'll begin to see where you are being led. Don't force it. Just stay open. The truth isn't chasing you, it's meeting you. That's why tomorrow had to be avoided. Because they knew if you went there, it would create a delay. But now that you've chosen stillness, the real place is being prepared. And only you will recognize it. Because it'll feel like something you dreamed once. A hallway. A voice. A scent you haven't smelled in years. That's your confirmation. The paper isn't ordinary. It's not a will. It's not a property deed. It's something even more rare, a declaration of beneficiary transfer, signed and sealed under a name you faintly remember, but never truly understood. Because that name? It's your bloodline. Someone you thought was long gone, someone whose connection to you was always kept blurry, has left behind access to something that carries weight. But not just money. Legacy. Identity. Authority. You were the one selected to carry this forward. And they hated that. They knew your spirit couldn't be manipulated. They saw how you walked through betrayal but still rose with dignity. They feared your clarity. So they tried to bury the paperwork, and distract you with drama. It almost worked. But the universe always leaves one divine loophole. And you just opened it. By staying home tomorrow, you activated the timeline that leads you straight to the truth. The fourth woman, the one who tried to warn you, has already made a silent move. She left a small envelope behind something you own. She couldn't say anything directly, but she left a symbol. A wax seal. Red. Stamped with a curved letter that might not look familiar, until you realize it's a stylized version of your own initials. You'll find it soon. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the day after. But you'll know it when you see it. That envelope leads to the location of the second copy. And that second copy? That's where the full truth is stored. Inside that document is more than your name. There's a statement. Handwritten. Not typed. Not formal. Just one paragraph. If you're reading this, then fate was stronger than fear. You were always meant to inherit not just this trust, but the truth. You carry a light no lie could ever put out. That paragraph was written by someone who loved you in silence. Someone who couldn't say it back then. Someone who hid it through layers of strategy. Because they knew others would try to erase it. They almost did. But you've arrived in the perfect moment to reclaim it all. Your future has been rerouted. You're no longer moving by randomness. Now, you're moving by divine design. They'll try again, in smaller ways. A call. A false apology. A last-minute offer. But don't fall for it. Their kindness is the cover. Their guilt is the engine. Stay still. Stay grounded. You've crossed the most dangerous threshold, and you did it with nothing but awareness and alignment. That's what makes you unstoppable now. But there's one final piece. And it's this. In the coming days, you'll be approached by someone you don't expect. Maybe an older man. Maybe a woman with trembling hands. They'll say something like, "I was told you'd come looking. I didn't think you'd actually show up." Don't panic. That's your moment. That's when everything will shift. Because that's the person who holds the final confirmation key, the one that unlocks the original file. Not the copy. Not the hearsay. The original. And when it's placed in your hands, you'll feel the truth run through your veins like heat. You'll remember who you are, not because someone told you, but because you feel it in your bones. You'll hold the document in your hands soon. Not digitally. Not by someone emailing you. But physically, in a moment so surreal, you'll wonder if it's a dream. The paper will be warm. The signature will be slightly faded. But the energy? Undeniable. Because what's written on it is proof of everything they tried to erase. You were never meant to struggle this long. You were never meant to question your worth so deeply. You were never supposed to feel abandoned, forgotten, replaced. That wasn't your destiny. That was a manipulation of your path, done by those who feared what would happen if you rose into your truth too early. But you broke through. And now, nothing can hold back what's already yours. The document will contain 3 sections. The first will confirm your name. The second will list the asset or authority being transferred. But the third, that's the part that changes everything. Because that's where a secret confession lies. Not legal. Not financial. But emotional. I knew one day they would find their way back to the truth. And when they do, let no one interfere with what they're about to receive. That sentence was written for you before the battle even began. It was sealed by someone who never gave up on your timeline, even when you did. In that moment, when you read that line, something strange will happen. The air will shift. You'll feel heat in your chest. Your ears might ring. Your fingers may tremble. Not out of fear, but because the chains are breaking. Chains of confusion, rejection, spiritual blockages, they'll all begin to lift in one silent wave. And as they do, so will your clarity. You'll no longer wonder why things didn't work, you'll see they were rerouted for protection. You'll no longer blame yourself for missed seasons, you'll thank the divine for preserving you. The truth is, you were never alone. You were being watched, guarded, rerouted, and whispered to, in invisible ways. Every delayed meeting, every closed door, every friend that fell away, it all built the staircase to this exact moment. And now you're standing at the top. You'll no longer be chasing love. You'll no longer be begging for understanding. You'll no longer be questioning whether you're good enough. Because this time, the proof is in your hand. They will be shocked. The three women? They'll go quiet. Not because they feel guilty, but because they lost their control. And when someone loses their hold over a story they created, they panic. But your story? You've reclaimed it. It now belongs to no one but you. You'll tell it on your own terms. You'll rise without needing approval. You'll step forward, not for revenge, but for restoration. What's next? Peace. Finally. Not the temporary kind, but the kind that anchors you. The kind that no phone call can shake. The kind that no betrayal can undo. The kind that your soul has cried out for in silence. And now, it's yours. It won't feel flashy. It'll feel quiet. But in that quiet, you'll hear yourself again. You'll remember what joy feels like without fear following it. You'll sleep deeply. You'll walk slowly. You'll smile without flinching. Because the battle is over. And you won. This is not the end of a story. This is the beginning of your real timeline. One where you're fully aware. You're fully protected. You're finally free. And the best part? You didn't need to fight. You just needed to listen. And you did. You won't need to explain anything to anyone. They'll feel it. The shift in you. The way your presence carries new weight. The way your silence now speaks louder than their noise. Because something sacred now surrounds you, a spiritual layer of peace that wasn't there before. When they try to bring up the past, it won't sting anymore. When they try to pull you back into confusion, you'll feel nothing but stillness. Because what you've just crossed has changed your nervous system. Your body now recognizes manipulation before your mind does. Your heart now filters energy before your ears even hear the words. You've become intuitively untouchable. And now, something new will begin to form. Slowly. Softly. But steadily. A real connection. Not with chaos. Not with false promises. But with someone or something that recognizes your frequency. Because when you stepped away from the trap, you didn't just escape danger, you signaled to the universe. I'm ready for what's meant for me. No more illusions. And the universe heard you. Clearly. That's why, over the next 7 days, don't be surprised if a stranger says something that feels exactly like the sentence you needed to hear. A name from your past resurfaces, but this time, it feels safe. A forgotten opportunity suddenly opens its door again, but now, you're ready. Because this moment didn't just clear your path, it aligned your energy. You're no longer running in circles. You're moving in clarity. And that clarity will bring gentle breakthroughs without force. You may be tempted to warn others. To say, watch out for them. To explain, here's what really happened. But you won't need to. Because when someone truly operates in light, their absence speaks volumes. And your silence? It will echo louder than anything they could say. You didn't vanish. You evolved. So now, let it unfold. Let the blessings trickle in. Let the energy stay soft. Let your phone stay quiet if it needs to. Let the real ones reveal themselves, not by words, but by consistency. Let your new chapter begin without announcement. Because what's coming next is not a show. It's a shift. And this time, it's just for you. Let's lock them in, one last divine time. You'll begin to notice something strange, but beautiful. People will speak, and you'll hear what's behind their words, not just their sentences. You'll walk into a room, and before anyone says a word, you'll feel the undercurrent. This isn't paranoia. This is spiritual clarity. This is what happens when your soul has passed through a test so subtle, so hidden, only the awakened could survive it. And you did. The reward is not loud. It's not glitter. Not noise. Not applause. The reward is knowing. Knowing who you are. Knowing what not to respond to. Knowing how to stay in your lane when chaos calls your name. Knowing that if you remain steady for just a little longer, something holy will arrive. There is a conversation coming. It won't happen in a crowd. Not in a group. Not on stage. But in a sacred pause. In a hallway. In a garden. Under dim lighting. Someone will say words that feel oddly specific. Like, I didn't know who else to tell this to, but somehow I knew you'd understand. In that moment, don't doubt yourself. That's the moment that was delayed while you were caught in the storm. That's the divine encounter that couldn't happen until you were fully free. And you'll finally understand. The delay wasn't punishment. The silence wasn't rejection. The confusion wasn't failure. It was all sacred orchestration. Because you were being prepared for this level of vision. The kind that can't be taught in words. The kind that only comes after you've watched shadows try to swallow you, and still chose light. That's the kind of soul you have. A new timeline has begun. It won't look like the old one. This time. You won't second guess when you say no. You won't beg for closure that won't come. You won't chase those who once fumbled your name. Instead, you'll walk with quiet boldness. And people will notice it, but won't know how to describe it. Because it won't be in your clothes, your job, your posts. It'll be in your frequency. And now, the part they never wanted you to hear. The very thing they tried to erase. The hidden clause in that document, the whispered phrase you weren't supposed to read aloud. Their life will not just shift, it will be elevated, protected, and covered for the rest of their path. No weapon formed will prosper, not because of might, but because of alignment. That's what's sealed behind the signature. That's the real inheritance. Not just assets, but divine covering. That was the threat they feared most. So what now? Now you rest. Not sleep. Not laziness. Not isolation. But spiritual rest. The kind that trusts every delay is divine. The kind that doesn't fight to be heard anymore, because truth echoes on its own. The kind that doesn't prove worth, but simply walks in it. And that walk? It starts now. Silently. Powerfully. Eternally.